All right, yesterday we learned that what it says in the Torah, that there has to be judges in every city, in every town, and policemen to enforce the judges, shoftim v'shotrim. That's not talking about the days of the Mashiach. In the days of the Mashiach, it's going to be like Isaiah said, there's going to be judges and advisors. There won't be policemen. Judges and advisors. We won't need policemen. Why won't we need policemen? Because the whole idea of Mashiach is that people will want to do the truth. They'll want to do what's right. People themselves will want to do what's right. You just have to have judges to tell you what's right. But as soon as the judge, that's why when God gave the Torah, he purposely gave the Torah unclear, demanding explanation. Because learning the Torah, that itself is a big commandment. That's the whole Talmud. Made it unclear. And of course, as time goes on, new situations arise. For instance, when the Torah was written, there wasn't any electricity. Now there's electricity. What is electricity on Shabbat? Is that fire or is it not fire? So there's great rabbis that sit and decide exactly what is marriage and what is birth and what's permissible, what's forbidden, what's a Jew, who's not a Jew, where is the land of Israel, what are the boundaries of Israel. These are things that the judges decide. But in the future, in the days of Mashiach, in the Geula, so everyone will be interested in knowing what God wants in order to do it. There won't be any necessity for policemen to force people. Policemen are for those who don't want to listen to the teachers. They don't want to listen to the rabbis. So they have to be forced. But if everybody wants to, there won't be any necessity for policemen. So it says, so why is there going to have to be in the future? The policemen will be replaced by advisors. What do you have to have advisors for? We just finished saying that the judges will tell you what to do and you'll do it. What do you have to have an advisor for? This is now we're going to understand why there's going to have to be advisors also in the days of the Mashiach. Why? In addition to the judges, even since Shalemus HaKoach, since that the wholesomeness of this power, Lakach Shebagula, Yupanei Israel, when the Jewish people will complete, and the Jewish people will act like Adam, the first man, was supposed to have acted, and not eat from the tree. The Jewish people just want to do what God wants. They'll do whatever the judges say, and there won't be any necessity. Lo tzorech shoftim. There won't be a necessity for shotrim, for policemen. The reason why you won't need policemen is because the judges themselves will be advisors. What does this mean? The difference between a judge and an advisor is shofet, a judge, enu be'erech lenishpat. A judge is not a friend of the litigant. You come and ask the rabbi a question, he gives you the answer. He does not look at you, who you are, what you are. You are a Jew with a question. He doesn't look at you if you're rich, if you're poor, if you've done favors for him, if you're a friend of his, if he doesn't like you, maybe he's your opposition. He's not a friend. He doesn't get personal at all, a judge. He is incomparably higher than the person who's coming to the judge. The person who's coming to the judge is ignorant. He doesn't know the law. I want to know what the law is. He doesn't know. The judge doesn't say, figure it out yourself. He says, I can't. I can't figure it out myself. That's why I came to you, right? You know, I don't know. So the judge says, oh, if so, I'm at a totally different level than you. You'll accept whatever I say? Yeah, for sure. I mean, what's the question? I don't know what to do. I'm not. Says, okay, that's a judge. A judge tells you what to do. It's almost like artificial intelligence. He's not human. Not human. Doesn't take the human aspect at all. The judge tells you what the Torah law is. Whether because he's incomparably in a different level than the person who's asking him. Why? He says whether because of his knowledge, b'dinim, he knows what the laws are. Because when a person comes in front of the judge, you have to surrender yourself to the judge. That's the way it's supposed to be. Because you're going to the judge in order to accept the decision. Even though it's not what the litigant wants, right? He goes into the judge and he says, Your Honor, I have this car and the person paid me for it, but he didn't pay me everything, and he promises he's going to pay, and he needs the car for go far away, but I don't want to give him the car because he didn't pay for it totally. But how much does he owe you? He owes me $2,000. I don't think he's going to pay. The judge says you have to give him the car. If he promised he'll pay, he'll pay. I'll write that promise or he know it. He says, but I don't want to do it. I mean, he's not going to pay me back. I know the person. He's not going to. The judge says, next case, right? If the person comes in front of a judge and he accepts this judge, he's supposed to totally be surrendered to the judge. That's what it's supposed to be ideally. And even if the judge says, you're wrong, you have to pay $100,000, he says, okay, I'll do it. Shofet Pesakadin, the judge decides the law. Umishpat, and what is the statute? And at Sivo, he commands, he decrees. Milamayla lamata, from above to below. And Nishpat, and the litigant, the one who's asking, Mukhrach, he is forced to accept this with Kabbalat all, accepting the yoke. How do you say, bite the bullet? That's the way the judge said. Whether he understands it, he doesn't understand it, he wants it, doesn't. That's why it's such a terrible thing. Crooked judges. In our prayers, we pray in the Shemona Esrei, there's one prayer that we say, God, please remove from us moaning and groaning and misery. In Judges, it says, God, give this blessing here. God, bring the judges back like they were and remove from us groaning and misery. It doesn't say that about heal the sick or gather the Jews together to Israel. It doesn't say, God, please heal the sick and take away our misery, or God, bless the years, give us money, we're poor, we need money. We don't say remove from us misery. Misery is when there's bad judges. Worst thing in the world. Why? Because you surrender yourself to the judge. You're supposed to surrender yourself to the judge and trust. You trust the judge. And if the judge is a dishonest judge, then the whole world is upside down. Then there's no one to trust. There's no law. There's no law. So that's why ideally kingship, monarchy is the best form of government. Why? Because a king is different from everybody else, but a king, and you accept what the king says. The king says something, he's always right, and you realize, wow, am I glad I have a king? I would have done the complete opposite of what the king said. I'm so happy, right? And someone says, how do you know the king is telling the truth? Maybe what you think is right. That's Korach. That's Korach. How do you know that what Moses is saying? Maybe what you think is right. It says, no, a judge is a person that he decrees and you accept the decree. Which is not the case. An advisor. An advisor is exactly like his name. He gives advice. He gives advice. What does it mean, advice? You don't have to take it if you don't want to. And because the advisor knows this, so he tries to explain it in a way that's understandable, that's acceptable. Eitza tova kamashma, like it says, you gave me a good advice. Right? Sometimes in the Talmud, it says this is the law, right? And you have to accept the law. Sometimes in the Talmud it says, I'm giving you good advice. It's a tova kamashma. She'inyan zeh, that this shows that the advisor, the yoetz, the advisor, he is found on the level of the person who listens to him. Therefore, medaber hayoetz alav. Therefore, the advisor is speaking to the person because he knows he's going to. He wants to. Let's put it this way: he wants to understand the person he's talking to. He wants to understand him. He comes down to his level. He's giving him advice that's going to be acceptable to him. No milamaylamata, not from a decree from above to below, but a yadid, like a friend, like a good friend that's speaking to him, shava v'shava, and how do you say eye to eye? V'noten lo eitza tovin is giving a good advice how to conduct himself. Eitza shehu mevin, an advice that he understands and is by him, and he feels that this is inyan tov, that's a good thing for him. Or maybe not. I'm sorry, a good thing for him. The imlav, and if the advisor doesn't explain it to him in a way that's acceptable, so then it's not a good advice. He's just decreeing what to do. Right? It's like parents, the children, they want to watch television or whatever they want to, and the parents say, listen, you have to study, you have to learn. Just another minute, right? I'm telling you, you have to do it. So the parents can either decree, listen, I know what's right, you don't know what's right. You're always wrong. If you don't shut up the television, I'll shut up myself. That's decree. Another way is saying, listen, can I talk to you for a second? Can we talk eye to eye for a minute, right? This program that you're watching, you can watch it another time. You're not getting anything from it. Do you agree or don't you agree? Think about it, right? He's trying to talk to him in a friendly way. I just heard there are these videos that they have after Shabbos, Rav Emmanuel Shochet, and he spoke. He was a rabbi, I think. I think he just passed away, didn't he? So, anyway, so he was a wonderful man and a very intelligent person, a very nice person. So, but he in the beginning, he was not connected to Chabad. And he said that, but he was very, enchanted with the Rebbe, saw the Rebbe. So he went to the Rebbe and he decided he had some sort of a thing that they wanted him to work somewhere or something. He was going to go to work and get a job somewhere as a rabbi, as a counselor. And the Rebbe wanted him to learn in the yeshiva. So he said, the Rebbe took me into his room and he spoke to me like a friend. And he started explaining to me why he thought it was better that I should, do what he said. He said afterwards, if the Rebbe would have commanded me to do it, I would have done it. He said, but he spoke to me and he convinced me in such a way that he was like eye to eye. He was just at my level. So I first of all, I couldn't decline. I couldn't disagree because it's the Rebbe. But I saw that the Rebbe wanted me to disagree or agree. It mattered to him, my opinion. And so I realized, I have to, argue a little bit. I don't want to because of this, that. And the Rebbe would give me a counter reason why he thinks it's better. Until finally he convinced me, right? He convinced me. That's an advisor. So he says, in the future, let's see, Yeshua said there's something in the judge that there's not in the advisor, and there's something that's good in the advisor that there's not in the judge. The good thing about the advisor is that it's accepted more by the person who's receiving. It permeates into his personality and his whole being. He realizes he accepts it. It's a good idea. He's convinced. Because this is a good thing for me. It's good for me. I benefit. Mailat the shofet, the good thing of the judge is horatov, that he shows that it's a command. You're doing something. I'm giving you a chance to do something. The judge says, giving you a chance to do something that's infinitely higher than what you would do on your own. If you would do it on your own, you wouldn't do it. It might be successful, but that's not a good thing to do. That's the judge. The judge is saying, you're not going to like this. You're not going to appreciate it, but I'm telling you what the law is. and you can attach yourself now to the truth, not just to what makes you feel good. That's the judge. The judge pulls you up to a higher level, but it's not really you. You're not really enjoying it. You didn't change your personality at all. So give to the judge. He has the power of the Torah to decide laws. This is a tremendously high power, which is incomparable to the advisor. The advisor is trying to tell you on your level what's good, to raise you up a little bit. It's a commandment from above. That he forces a person that he should do what he says. Which is not the case. And advice, this is, he's got a choice. Either he can do it or he cannot do it. In other words, the Rebbe is giving you advice. Advice means that if you don't want to take the advice, you don't have to. I'm just advising you. I'm not telling you this is what you should do. Right? So advice is for my benefit. I feel it. And the judgment, this is for the truth. This is for the truth, not necessarily for my benefit. Right? Could be that I'll benefit more if I have a small house and I live in a small place, and I'll benefit more. But I won't feel happy. I feel happy. I have a nice big house and I have a lot of money. That's good. But it could be that's okay. We'll find somebody else. Right? God will find somebody else that he'll benefit from the smaller house and it. So sometimes the advisor is trying to make you agree, and the judge is trying to make you follow. You have to follow blind obedience. So, but an advisor, he wants to assure that you accept his advice. It's just like two things that have to be in the service of man, serving God. On one hand, we have to serve God on our own, and arousal from below. And God helps us. Then there's an arousal from above. Same thing is also, there is two things here, b'siyum milamayla, b'siyua milamayla, also in being helped by God. Sometimes God gives you help and inspiration, which is be'erech la'adam, which is commensurate to your personality, umitlabesh bo from panimi, b'siyui and atinet koach, medrega shelo be'erech, there's ways that are totally above you. Al derech similarly, I know there's people, and they heard a lecture. They heard a lecture, and that changed their mind about Judaism. They decided they're going to be religious. I'll tell you the second story, which I know I've told you at least 10 times, but I'll tell you it again. There's some people that they hear a lecture from someone, and the lecture is very good, and he convinces everyone that it's good, it's worth your while to be Jewish and to be religious and to do the commandments and to keep Shabbat and to keep that's one way. Right? It convinces you, right? And it's not nice. You can walk around with the earrings in your ears and big afro hairdos and things like that. That, and not that it's forbidden, but what do you need it for? That's where you put all your emphasis in. Don't do it, and he convinces you. So that gets inside. Okay, but still, who's the boss over here? I'm the boss. Well, then there's another way, from above to below, something completely above. And I told you this story, but I'll tell it again. A fellow tells the story that he worked in America. He's an Israeli, and his partner, they had an auto garage. They fixed up cars, and his friend was a Yemenite Jew from Israel, and he completely left Judaism, totally left Judaism. His nights were like filled with partying and just having a good time. And he had, earrings all over and big afro hairdo, and his shirt was open, and a good time guy. What do they call it? Anyway, so he tries to convince this fellow to go to the Rebbe. They live not far from the Rebbe. On Sundays, the Rebbe used to give dollars. So he tries to convince this fellow, and he always refuses. But this fellow starts hearing nice things about the Rebbe, and the Rebbe is very friendly, and the Rebbe is this. So he said, okay. So they went to you get $1. So I figured, okay, I have $1, a memento, maybe he'll send it to his mother. He said he went, this fellow went before him, the Yemenite fellow went before him. The Rebbe gave him $1, said something to him, blessing and success. And he he didn't wait for him. The Yemenite guy didn't wait for his friend. And so his friend went from the Rebbe, got the dollar, didn't looking around for his friend. What happened? His friend, as soon as he went by the Rebbe, immediately he just kept walking. He saw there was a barber shop across the street from where he went into the barber shop and he got his hair cut, took off all his earrings, went next door and he bought a pair of tefillin and he said, that's what I'm going to. What happened? The Rebbe didn't convince him. The Rebbe didn't do anything. Something happened from above, completely. Okay, this is sometimes a very dangerous thing because, easy come, easy go. Sometimes the person will become very religious and then he'll, leave it in just 1 second also. What did I do? How did I? That's the thing of an advisor. An advisor, he takes it to heart. He takes it deeply into his own personality. His panemius, ba'ofen shemargish, that he feels that this is for my good, it's for my benefit. So now we can understand the difference between judges, why it says judges in the beginning and advisors like in the start. And this we're going to talk about, God willing, tomorrow. So it's going to be end up that the Mashiach is going to be both. He's going to be also a judge and also an advisor. It's going to be something which is going to attach us to a power which is completely outside of our personality, to change totally. But on the other hand, it'll be accepted to us. We'll feel that we're doing it. It's us doing it. It's not some religious act. It becomes part of our nature. And we'll talk about this, God willing, tomorrow. Let's do this.